Hello friends, I'm feeling very Elle Woods today. But anyway, welcome back to Books Past Bedtime. My name is Jess, if you didn't know. Today, we are going to be doing a very exciting video. I've been sitting on this video idea for a while now, and I really wanted to do it, and now we are finally doing it. So let's just get into it. A few weeks ago, I saw Kennedy Walsh put out this video where she let her YouTube recommended decide her day, and I was like, hey, it would be so fun if I did a reading vlog where I let my YouTube recommended pick my TBR. So that's what we're doing. Yes, I'm very smart. Thank you. I have great ideas in my head sometimes. I do have my laptop here, and we are going to screen record and see what we can find in my YouTube recommended. Okay, so right now I'm on my YouTube homepage. I am going to go to up here where it says reading. I'm gonna click on reading, just so we're in the realm of booktube and I'm not exposing myself for all the other shit I watch on YouTube. Okay. The first video I see here is by Renee Amberg, who is not a booktuber, but she is like a lifestyle vlogger, somebody that I really like, and this video is the 10 best books she has ever read. I'm kind of curious to see what she recommends in this video, so let's click on this one. Maybe I'll find something to read. I did see Crawdads in the thumbnail, and I love that book, so if she has anything else like that in this video, I might check that out. I do know that she reads a lot of nonfiction though, and I'm not really looking for nonfiction, to be honest. I don't want to read stuff that I'm like totally not interested in, so we're just gonna see really quick what's in this video.
A book that used to be my number one, but now Crawdads is my number one. The Silent Patient is the author's first book, which is absolutely insane, but basically there's a girl.
Okay, so Renee has recommended The Silent Patient to me by Alex Michaelides, and I was just talking about this last night with Mare, and she really loves this thriller as well, so it's kind of been something that I've been thinking about reading, but also my mom read this thriller and absolutely hated it, so I've kind of been like iffy about it, but the YouTube gods have spoken. Book number one is going to be The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. So The Silent Patient starts out with our main character Alicia, who has a seemingly perfect life until one day her husband comes home and she shoots him 5 times in the face, and then she never speaks again. She is locked away in a kind of like psychiatric ward, I believe, and then we're following our like main character Theo Faber, who is a criminal psychotherapist who really wants to work with Alicia and uncover the secrets of why she ended up shooting her husband. This one definitely sounds good, and I am willing to check it out, and so we have book number one for this video. So up next in my little autoplay column is a video from the book Leo, where she is tier ranking all of the books she's read so far in 2020. So let's see what she puts in her top tier and see if we can get our next book from there. I'm letting them get their YouTube coin. I don't have an ad blocker on. I am a good YouTube viewer. Don't worry.
And I'm gonna rank them from worst to best.
Okay, so she's like going through and doing her worst books that she's read all the way to the best. It's not like a tier rank. So I'm gonna skip ahead and see if I can get to the best books. I saw Daisy Jones and the Six in there, so that's good. That's a good sign that we might have similar tastes.
Mental magic, so much action. There are pirates. Pirates, guys, pirates.
I've already read A Conjuring of Light.
Fantastic tier. Best books that I've read this year so far.
Okay, we've just gotten to her fantastic tier, so these are the books that I'm going to be choosing a recommendation from.
I have 1984.
I've read 1984.
Oliphant is completely fine.
So here she's recommending Eleanor, Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gale Honeyman, which is kind of a book that's been on my radar. My mom also read this one. She really liked it. So I think this one might be our next book. So Eleanor, Oliphant is Completely Fine follows our main character Eleanor, who is kind of a recluse, kind of lives a very isolated life, avoiding social interaction, which relatable. But then she meets this guy named Raymond, and her and Raymond end up saving this person, and this from a fall, and this situation kind of bonds them, and Eleanor learns that maybe there's a little bit more to life, that she is capable of friendship, maybe even love, and I think this is like a uplifting, happy story, I believe. I don't know, I kind of hope. This one sounds good. It was definitely on my radar, so I am happy that it turned up by chance, and the book Leo says it's fantastic, so hopefully it will be. All right, let's pick our final book. There's another book Leo video down here, but I don't want to do 2 from the same person, so what else do we have? So I was kind of thinking I was just going to go down a rabbit hole like this, but I think I'm going to go back to the main page and see what has regenerated in my little recommended page. So the next video that I'm kind of being drawn to is this one by Kat at Paperback Dreams. She has this video of 5 books that will hopefully give you nightmares, and that sounds interesting. So that's the first one I kind of see too that's like recommendations. So let's click on that one and see what she has to recommend.
Oh, you're getting. Hey, what's up? My name's Kat. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing some scary book recommendations because it's October.
time when most people do scary book recommendations.
So her first recommendation is The Diviners by Luba Bray, and I definitely have that one on my bookshelf. I've technically already read it. It is something I want to reread and reread the whole series, but I don't think that's something I want to do in this video. So let's see what else she has. So her next book that she recommends is Pet Sematary by Stephen King. This is something that I have not read yet. It definitely is on my TBR. Stephen King is kind of a hit or miss for me, but I tend to like his horror stuff better than I like his fantasy stuff. So this might be an option. I'm gonna cheat and see what else she recommends in this video though. So the next book she recommends is The Troop by Nick Cutter. This is a book that I've heard about, but I don't really know a lot about. It's definitely like horror, mystery thriller kind of thing about this Boy Scout troop that gets attacked by parasites when they're out in the woods or something. I don't know. It sounds really weird. Kat says it was really weird, but I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued by that one. Then she actually just recommended Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter, which I am reading for a different reading vlog where I'm reading my friend Haley's favorite books. That will be coming out in a little bit if it's not already out. So that one's out of the running. And then the last book she recommends is Strange Brother by Joe Hill, which I think is a short story collection. I'm not really into that. So I think do I want to read Pet Sematary or do I want to read The Troop? That is the question. So I think that I'm going to read The Troop by Nick Cutter. I was just reading the reviews on Goodreads and Stephen King said it scared the living daylights out of him. So if Stephen King is recommending it to me, then I think I'm gonna read that one and save Pet Sematary for another time. So like I said previously, The Troop follows this Boy Scout troop who goes camping in the woods and they are attacked by some kind of disease carrying thing, parasite thing, I don't really know. It definitely is like old school horror, I think. I think this like disease messes with their brain. I don't know. I don't really know a lot about it, but I am adding it to my TBR. So I am going to read these 3 books over the next couple days and I will just fucking bee trying to get in my window. Anyway, so I'm gonna read these 3 books over the next couple days and I will update you as I go along and we will see if YouTube is recommending me the correct books through the correct videos. This will just be a fun time, so let's get into it. Hello, I have started my first book for this video, so I'm about 2/3 of the way through Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gale Honeyman, and I really am enjoying this one so far. Sorry, it's bright and my blue ass eyes are very sensitive to the light, and I'm wearing sunglasses, so okay, so I'm really enjoying this one so far. It is about our main character, Eleanor, and Eleanor is very much a loner. I think she's had some trauma in her childhood, and so she kind of has trouble connecting with people. She definitely struggles with social cues and social interactions with other people. She's a little kooky, she's a little weird, but she is a very fun main character. She honestly is hilarious because she has the impression that everybody else around her doesn't understand social cues and social interaction, and so she like comments on that all the time, and it is so funny. She's like obviously the one being a little bit weird, but everybody else around her, she just judges the crap out of them, and it's so funny. But the main kind of plot of this story, I think, is her kind of coming out of her shell a little bit. So she spent like the last 10-15 years just kind of keeping to herself, and she's a very routinized person in that she has a routine every single day and she follows it. But she meets this guy in her office named Raymond, and he keeps inviting her to like lunch and go out and go to like work functions and different things, and so she is forming a friendship with him, which is really sweet. She also went to a concert and is like fixated on the lead singer of that band that she saw, and she thinks that they're going to fall in love, so she keeps like stalking him on the internet and researching him and like orchestrating run-ins with him, which is really funny too, because whenever she hasn't really told anybody about this man, but she like will casually drop in conversation that she like has met someone or she is really interested in someone, and I think her friend Raymond always thinks that she is talking about him. So it's just so funny because she's just totally oblivious, but Raymond obviously like reacts every time she says something like that. So it's really funny. But I really like her and Raymond's relationship. It is really cute and sweet, and I would imagine, I don't know if it's gonna be more than a friendship, but anyway, he like very much is helping her kind of get out of her shell and do more things other than just stay in her house. Eleanor also, as I mentioned, has had some childhood trauma. There's this thing with her mother. I can't tell if her mother is in like a mental hospital or in jail or something. I kind of think she might be in jail, and Eleanor has these like scars on her face, and we're starting to learn more about that and her past, which is really interesting. I think by the end we will get the full story and the full picture and really understand Eleanor as a character and why she makes the decisions she makes and acts the way she acts. Overall, I am really enjoying this one so far. I'm having a lot of fun reading it. I am listening to the audiobook. The narrator does accents for all the different characters. They are in Scotland, I believe, so there's a lot of Scottish accents. Eleanor, I think, is from England, so she has an English accent, but I just love listening to audiobooks with the accents, and I'm very like susceptible to people's accents, so when I'm like listening to hours on end of this audiobook, then I start thinking in a Scottish accent. I think I'm weird, but I did put a poll on Instagram, and these are the results of the poll, so it's not just me. But anyway, I really am enjoying this book. If I had to rate it right now, I am imagining it's going to be like a 4-star. I feel like it could be anywhere from a 3 to a 5-star depending on the ending. So I definitely am enjoying it. It's really a fun, easy read, and I just can't wait to learn more about Eleanor and see where her relationship with Raymond progresses. And yeah, I'm having so much fun, and I will update you when I am finished. Same place, same outfit, different day. Last night I finished Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. Barely. I swear I listened to the last 45 minutes of the audiobook like 4 times because I kept falling asleep. And just a disclaimer, that was not the book's fault, that was my fault. I was just tired. So I really enjoyed this one. In the last third of the book, Eleanor ends up going to therapy, and so we really start to learn a lot about her past, and she makes a lot of progress personally and grows a lot as a person, which is really cool to see. I really enjoyed seeing her progress mentally and accept herself more. The last third of this book, we definitely really dive deep into themes of like childhood trauma and self-acceptance and moving on and getting better, which I really appreciated seeing. It definitely is very emotional reading this book and learning what happened to Eleanor in her past, but at the same time it's also really rewarding seeing her grow and progress, as I mentioned earlier. And Raymond really shines in the last third of this book as well. He is such a sweet character. I loved reading about him so much. He was such a positive light in Eleanor's life. He was really at the core of it just an amazing friend to her, which was awesome. Like he was exactly what Eleanor needed when she needed him, and that was really cool to see. I really liked him and his character a whole lot, and I want a Raymond in my life. He was amazing. And even though I did really enjoy this book, I think I'm going to settle on a 4-star rating. For me, what separates a 5-star hard-hitting contemporary fiction from a 4-star is whether it makes me cry or not, and unfortunately this one did not make me cry. It is possible it was because I was listening to the audiobook while I was too tired. Even the emotional parts in the beginning didn't really make me cry, so I think for that reason, I don't know if that reason makes sense to anybody else, but that is my reason for giving this book 4 stars instead of 5. But overall, this was a really good book. I enjoyed it a lot, and I definitely think that my YouTube recommendations have been a success so far. Maybe YouTube does know me after all. I'm counting this first one as a win. And next up, I am going to start The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I'm very excited for this one, and I will update you when I am 50% of the way through. I have started my second book. I'm now 50% of the way through The Silent Patient, maybe like a little bit more. The audiobook's actually really quick. It's like only 8 hours, so I've been flying through it so far, and I am enjoying it, but so this is like a super popular thriller out there, right? So I know a lot of people have read it. A lot of people like it, but my mom told me she predicted the ending like really early. So I was looking out for like something predictable. And so the first person that gave an alibi, I was like, oh, it's probably them. So then I posted on Instagram. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know who it is. And everybody was like, bitch, I guarantee you do not know who it is. And then I was like embarrassed. So I wanted to know if I was right or not, so I looked it up and I spoiled the ending for myself. So I know who the killer is, and I can tell you that, at least to me, it was not predictable. I was like, what? So I'm still interested to read the rest of it to like see how everything connects, but I did think I guessed it, but I did not. I just need to like stop letting other people influence my reading experience, but that's really an issue for me. So that is something I'm going to work on moving forward. But anyway, so this book is basically following our main character. He's a psychotherapist, and he is kind of obsessed with this woman who murdered her husband, and as soon as she murdered him, she went silent. She did not declare her innocence. She did not declare her guilt. She hasn't spoken a word since, and it's been multiple years. And she is being held at like a mental hospital. This therapist applies to work in that mental hospital because he wants to work directly with her and figure out what happened and help her speak again and get to the truth. And he is like working with her and trying to connect with people who knew her before to really try and figure out the mystery. He's almost being kind of like a detective about it, more so than like a therapist and like wanting to help her. It's more that he just like wants to solve the mystery, which is fine. I want to know what's going on as well. I do like our main character. He has some of his own issues and he is far from perfect, but he really gives us a strong narrative voice for this story, and I am really enjoying being inside of his head and seeing things through his point of view. And then our elusive Alicia, who is the woman who murdered her husband. She is a super interesting character as well because for all intents and purposes, before she murdered her husband, there was no warning signs, there was no really reason for her to do it. We do get some of her journal entries and they really show that she was like totally in love with him, and as far as we know now, no reason to actually murder him. So, but despite all that, the evidence was pretty damning, and so everyone just believes that she did it. So even though I like know the ending, I am excited to see how it all connects together because I still really have no idea how they're going to get to that spot. So I am definitely going to keep reading. I should be able to finish this up in a few hours. I might try and do it today, and I will keep you updated and let you know when I finish it. So I finished The Silent Patient and I did enjoy it even though I spoiled myself for it. And there was something that I didn't spoil myself for. It was like the actual last twist and the actual last person who actually killed. I liked that ending, honestly. I thought that was great. If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. I just really appreciated who the actual murderer was. Yeah, it was a good little last tiny twist at the end that I wasn't spoiled for, so I appreciated that. So take my rating with a grain of salt because obviously I didn't get the proper experience with this book that I should have, and that's my own fault. Like, it's nobody's fault but my own. Just keep that in mind. I think I am gonna rate this a 3. I did enjoy it. I was captivated throughout, but I didn't like the twist, and I can't tell if it's because I was spoiled for it or because I actually just didn't like it and thought it was dumb. I think I did think it was a little bit dumb, and I also just, I don't know, like I wanted to like the main therapist guy at first, but he just got like more and more selfish and what's the word? Like cocky as the book went through, and like superior. And I didn't like that. I thought he was a weird character. I also didn't really love Alicia. Like, she was alright, and I liked what she ended up doing in the end, but once the book finished, I didn't really feel any particular connection to her. I definitely don't think this book will be forgettable, but I think that's because of the experience I had with it. I don't know how to feel about this one. It definitely felt very average to me, but I think it's probably because I spoiled myself. So my rating is probably not accurate or fair, so don't base your own decision on whether to read this book or not off of my botched rating. But anyway, that's what I'm gonna go with for this book. Honestly, this was a cursed YouTube recommendation because I just had so many preconceptions going into this book from so many different people that I just could not chill out and take the book in for myself because I just had so many other people's opinions bombarding my head and my reading experience. So I just think this one was a fail, which is okay. Not every single video that YouTube recommends is going to fit you perfectly, and this is like a stupid experiment anyway. So YouTube is not actually recommending me books, they're recommending me videos about books. So I don't even know what I'm rambling about. I don't know. Anyway, this one was okay, not the best. So YouTube is 0 for 1. So I definitely think Eleanor Oliphant was a bigger success. A Silent Patient is definitely my least favorite so far. I don't know. It was an okay experience. And that is nobody's fault but my own. Okay, so I am 50% of the way through The Troop by Nick Cutter, and this book is weird, let me tell you. Very strange. So this has kind of got Wilder Girls vibes almost, because it follows this Boy Scout or Eagle Scout troop who is camping on this island when this like zombie infected character comes onto the island and basically unleashes a biohazard on this island. These boys, their scoutmaster ends up getting infected, he ends up dying, and they kind of have to fend for themselves. The federal government has quarantined this island, so there is nobody coming to rescue them. They just have to survive for themselves. This outbreak is something that makes you like super hungry and just makes you eat until you like explode. I think it's like a tapeworm based kind of thing. This definitely has some body horror in it and some gore, so if you're sensitive to that kind of thing, I might not recommend. It's not my favorite type of thing by any means, so some of it is definitely grossing me out, but so far I am enjoying this. It definitely has like those Wilder Girl vibes like I mentioned, and also kind of Lord of the Flies vibes, because there's this troop of boys who just has to figure out how to fend for themselves on their own. It definitely is interesting too, because I think it's kind of written like a case file, and so there are interviews being conducted with the scientists who actually invented and created this biohazard and this breed of zombies. That kind of stuff is honestly really interesting. Like, the author really thought through the science of everything and is explaining it, which I think is kind of interesting and cool and unique. But so far I am really enjoying it. It took me a little while to get into it, but now at the 50% mark. We are definitely in the thick of the action, and so I'm excited to see where this goes. This book I feel like could be like a 3 or a 4 star, maybe a 2 star. It all depends how it ends. I don't think I by any means will be rating this book 5 stars just because it's not really my typical type of thing, but it definitely is horrifying so far, which I think it's supposed to be. So I am excited to see where it goes, and I will update you once I finish. So I finished The Troop by Nick Cutter, and I kind of don't really know what to think about it. So it was definitely absolutely horrifying. Lots of Lord of the Fly vibes, also lots of Wilder Girl vibes, very similar to those two kind of stories. A lot of body horror, a lot of gore. As I mentioned in the previous clip, it's basically about this contagion that infects this island where this Eagle Scout troop is, and they all have to kind of figure out how to survive, how to not get this contagion. A lot of them are not successful. There's also this element that the government knew about the creation of this contagion and kind of almost sanctioned it or commissioned it, and I liked that aspect a lot. That was super interesting to me and made the story feel like honestly more realistic because the government's whack, you know. But overall, I don't think this is really the kind of story for me. I'm really not into body horror and gore, and that's really the premise of the story, is it's supposed to be absolutely horrifying, gut-rending, all of that good stuff, which it definitely was. So I definitely think it was successful for what it was meant to be, just like wasn't necessarily the book for me. I think I'm probably gonna give it 3 stars just as like a combination of objective and personal rating. There definitely were some cool elements and themes in this, like survival and friendship and characterizations. It also has kind of an open-ended ending that was kind of cool and interesting, but at the end of the day, this isn't a super unique book. It's kind of a story that we've heard before, so I don't think it's anything revolutionary, but if you're looking for something absolutely horrifying that would be perfect for October, this book would be good for you. So I definitely wouldn't steer you away from this book if it's something you're interested in, but it wasn't for me personally. So that was the last book for this reading vlog. I have finished reading all of the books that my YouTube recommended to me. This was a super interesting experiment and was moderately successful. I think my least favorite book probably would be The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I gave this book 3 stars. I didn't love this that much. It's kind of my own fault. This one kind of doesn't really count, to be honest with you, but of the 3, this was probably my least favorite. And then in second place, I'm going to put The Troop by Nick Cutter. Like I just mentioned, I rated this one 3 stars. I thought it was good for what it was, but I don't think it was the book for me. And then my favorite by far that I read for this reading vlog was Eleanor, Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gale Honeyman. I actually really enjoyed this one. I gave it a very strong solid 4 stars. Would have been a 5-star book if it had made me cry. I thought this was a really strong read. Definitely would recommend this one most out of all 3 that I read today. So I don't know if we can really learn anything from this. Obviously the YouTube algorithm isn't perfect, so it's not always going to recommend you videos that you are interested in, and in my case videos with books that I'm interested in. But overall, I did think this was a fun and interesting experiment, and I did find some decent reads from this video, so overall I think it was successful. But either way, I had a fun time and it pushed me to read some things out of my comfort zone, which I always appreciate, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you hanging out with me. All relevant links will be in the description down below. Make sure to check those out. I always have good things down there, including trigger warnings for any of the books I talked about. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and follow me over on Instagram. I am very active over there if you're interested in my day-to-day reading life. And that's going to be all from me today. Thank you again so much for watching. I appreciate you being here so much. If there are any other secret TBR videos like this that you'd like to see me do, leave them in the comments down below. I would love to hear your ideas. And yeah, thank you again. See you in the next one. Bye.